After a big hype cycle for a few weeks for The Long Walk, I was able to get out and see it myself. I went in anticipating what was surely going to be the greatest film I've ever seen based on some of the comments praising this movie ahead of time. The hype was insane. People saying that it broke them mentally. They physically were exhausted along with the people on this journey watching the movie. And so I suppose it was the fault of my own going in with such high expectations, because what I was left with did not get near to the level that some of these people were praising it. Not saying it's bad, quite the contrary. I'm going to get into the review, no spoilers, let's begin. Say, before I lace up the boots and we go on this walk together, if you wouldn't mind trekking your ass to the subscribe, hitting that bad boy on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, I would appreciate it. I post movie reviews and commentary almost on a daily basis. Would love to have you stick around. Okay, let's walk. Now, if you followed me for some time, you know I don't like to beat around the bush. I tell it to you how I feel the movie is, and for me, The Long Walk, a solid film, a very engaging, enjoyable movie from front to back, easy to sit through. There's a lot of stuff going on that I really appreciated. It does lack in a few places, which I will go over, but for the most part, I think people will have a good time with this one. Certainly a much better time than the gentlemen in this movie are having. Because The Long Walk is another one of those good old-fashioned torture films where we put people in really terrible situations and then we get to sit in amazement as they get picked off one by one for our amusement. Something's wrong with us. The premise is simple and incredibly effective. We have an America that is crumbling. We are presented with a fallen country. America is not the shining beacon it used to be. People cannot afford shit. The military has taken over. And morale for people is at an all-time low. And yes, I'm describing the movie right now, if you're confused. And so what America has decided, in its infinite wisdom, is to put together a little challenge. One, to be fair, that is optional, in a sense. Young men have the grand opportunity to enlist themselves into the walkathon. This acts as a morale booster for everyone in the country watching, so that we can get productivity back up when they see these inspired young men who elected to put themselves in a position where they have to walk going 3 miles per hour, never stopping, or their ticket is punched, which is just a gentle way of saying they get killed. Unfortunately, only 50 people can participate in this at a time. This could go on for a day, could go on for weeks. Hell, if Forrest Gump was around, this could go a year. Fortunately for these 50 young men, Forrest Gump is not around. Instead, we have a ragtag motley crew of guys who will learn to bond and understand each other as this movie progresses. Not all of them, of course. You have to have wild cards. You have to have assholes in the mix to shake things up. Not helping matters as these guys are constantly patrolled by a little fleet of tanks helmed by a pissed off Mark Hamill. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'd be pretty tense step 2 if I had authoritarian Luke Skywalker force pushing my ass forward. Now, if you're hearing this premise and thinking to yourself, this sounds awfully familiar to something like a Squid Games or a Hunger Games, well, that's because they are very similar, but this one did it first. This is the OG. Based on the novel by Stephen King that came out in 1979, this set the standard. This set the tone. Also helping to set the tone is the previous director that worked on the last couple Hunger Games films is directing this one. That's right, Francis Lawrence is once again directing people to their deaths. And this time around, unlike with the PG-13 Hunger Games movies, he's showing everything. This R-rated film can be pretty brutal at times. The camera rarely shies away from showing someone get shot point blank, and I can fully appreciate someone not wanting to watch a movie like this right now, or ever. It can be tough to see guys get killed, especially when that camera lingers on the violence. Now, for someone like myself who's been completely desensitized and basically dead inside over the years, it does absolutely nothing to faze me. In fact, that would be, I guess, more on the critical side of things. People praised this movie, said it broke them, said it was just powerful and impactful, and I wanted that, but I did not get that. It perhaps is because I'm so numb inside that I just could not get the shock and awe value from it. There is camaraderie. I really liked all the actors in this film. Even the kind of like the bad or villain characters really had a sympathetic lens to them. They weren't caricatures, which I appreciated. These guys are all given a number, 1 through 50. Our main character is number 47, Raymond Garrity. He and his new acquaintance, Peter McVries, or number 23, the GOAT, of course, are going to do their best to keep each other alive and moving forward for this hour and 50-ish minute runtime. What I loved about The Long Walk is it wastes no time jumping into it. We are right there at the beginning, at the starting line, when this film fires up. Very little context to anything. However, that also works as a con. Because there's such a lack of context as to what's going on in the world, who the leadership is, who the real threat and villains are, because of the vagueness and the lack of focus on some of the details, I felt like some of the stuff got lost in translation as far as what the hero was really hoping to accomplish, and some of the side plots that don't really amount to anything. And you could chalk it up to, oh, well, that person's crazy. But there were several instances in the movie where a character would allude to a grander plan, and then that plan just would not happen at all. Like, you better watch your mouth, I got big plans for you, or I know exactly what I'm doing right now. Do you? Or was this a red herring? Or are you just crazy and so we can't believe anything you say? In either of those instances, it just doesn't have any impact or weight to it. What does have impact are the performances by all these actors. They do a fantastic job. I believed the camaraderie. I believed in the friendships they forge during this walk. Outside of Cooper Hoffman and David Johnson's terrific performances as our two leads, Ben Wong as Hank Olsen does a perfect job of comic relief without being comical. He has humor with his character, but he also has a serious side, a soft side. These are all well-rounded characters. They're not one-dimensional stock entries that you just plop onto the battlefield. Actor Charlie Plummer is wonderful here too. This is the guy that's kind of a loose cannon. You don't know what he's gonna do. He's mentally unwell. Unfortunately, I do think the script lets him down a little bit in terms of what he was really up to the whole time, or perhaps I just missed it. It could be on me. Sometimes that turns out to be the case. Now, I touched upon the violence, which includes a lot of people getting gunned down, some CG blood thrown in, which it never looks the best compared to like squibs. But this movie also does not shy away from some of the lingering questions viewers might have watching guys walk for multiple days straight, such as, do they need to go to the bathroom? How do they go to the bathroom? Especially if they have to take a shit during the walk. Don't worry, the director's gonna show you exactly that process, and he's not gonna shy away from the details. After the movie was over, my buddy and I chatted about it, some of our thoughts, and he said, man, they're probably gonna make some good money on this considering it looked like it had almost no budget. And he doesn't mean that negatively from a cinematic standpoint. The film is beautifully shot. There is a good score accompanying it. Nothing negative about the production values at all. What he was getting at is there's just not a lot there. I mean, it's really just a few roads that they walk down, a couple soldiers, obviously the 50 actors they have playing these characters, but there's not like explosions and these large set pieces at all. You don't have any of these crazy Hunger Game vignettes where a bunch of werewolf people run out of the woods and start killing the kids. No, this is a grounded movie. It's gritty, it's realistic, and unfortunately for some, that comes at the cost of spectacle. For me, this stuff all worked very well. The hour and 45 flew by very quickly. I just didn't get the impact I think some other of my fellow critics got a week or so back when they saw this early. But overall, a solid watch, one I could revisit down the road, no problem. Okay, that's all I got for you on The Long Walk. Let me know if you saw this movie already or if you're planning on seeing it. Leave a comment. Please think of subbing to the show. Adam Does Movies on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. I post movie reviews, live streams, movie commentary almost on a daily basis. It's unheard of here. And I would appreciate you if you stuck around. All right, take care. If you appreciate my content, I am a one-man band. This is a ton of work, and you want a way to give back. Head on over to patreon.com/AdamDoesMovies. There's tons of exclusive perks over there. Look at these awesome supporters so far. There's some of the best people on this planet, and you could be one of them. You could be right there alongside, and I would appreciate it.